I'm sorry, y'all. Whoever logs into this, I'm reading something. I just got this message on this channel. I don't know why this channel gets to go live and some of my other ones not yet. It says here, new managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live. Well, I will have to read more about that. So I don't know if there's anyone who is from my other channel that is following this channel, but nonetheless, I'm going to yap a little bit, okay? Um, if you find this message, I hope that it finds you well. And I want you to know something. It's actually gonna be cool, okay? You kind of need to know this. It's all right, okay? If even though things are going well in your life, it and you feel like you shouldn't feel needy, or you shouldn't feel like you don't have the things you need, or it's not that you want to feel ungrateful, but you just kind of feel uninspired. That is okay. I don't know. I think that we get sound bites of things that are like motivational, and we know not to give too much of our power away. But nobody tells us that though power is more important than money, it is the most taxing thing to have. It is the scariest thing to have. And at the same time, for those who acquire power, it is the most terrifying thing to think about losing, okay? And I know that there are people who feel as though they don't have power, they don't have access in their world. And this message, I'm starting it off this way, it may not resonate, or you may not feel like it resonates, but no, it does. Actually, the less you have, it probably resonates the most. To have the power to choose and yet feel as though you are not choosing properly is a sword that I think a lot of people who feel as though they are distant from said power and access, they they feel like if someone says, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and I feel lonely, I feel like though I've accomplished all of these things, I still feel unfulfilled, right? That is that's not easy, okay? And I'm not here to coddle anyone. I'm not here to soften the blow to anyone, but there's nothing wrong with you assigning or delegating or even asking for the universe to bring in someone that you can delegate or something that you can delegate the care of yourself to. Some of us don't realize this, but it's not that we want people to care for us, like to literally take care of us. Sometimes what is necessary is for people to teach us how to care for ourselves. You know, like I kind of just I sat with some realizations today, and a man that I read said that because they didn't get the encouragement that they needed in their childhood, it's what drove that, I guess, that loneliness, that desperation, whatever it was. It drove them to the success that they have, right? Now they don't know what to do with themselves. Like, the success is there, but they've become wise enough to realize that the success is a separate entity from the self. Can you believe that? Isn't that a wild idea? Like, for those of us who are not quite where we want to be, isn't it a wild idea? Just if you can flow with me for a little bit, that the success that you reach in your life is a separate fucking entity. Like, and people will say that you're being ungrateful, but I know that you're not being ungrateful. I'm not trying to fucking coddle you, but I know that you're not being ungrateful. I know. The same thing happens in love relationships. You know that you love this person, and you know that they love you. You know, like, listen, y'all, you think that is listen, you can have the love of your life and would die instead of being without that person. And there could still be times in which, with everything that you have, you do have moments that remind you to be grateful and have gratitude. But something just for you feels unfulfilling, okay? And it's okay. I don't think we're told enough. We're always told, okay, you must be grateful. You must be. We understand that. Some of the most accomplished people that I've been blessed to know are really truly down to earth and incredible people. But they're people. And I think that in this number one year, and some people say it's a Mars driven year or it's a solar year, and I say yes to both. The sun is exalted in Aries, and shout out to all of the Aries babies. But fuck, I mean, I think you are allowed to say that, yes, I have the love of my life, or yes, I have the success that I wanted, and I have more opportunities coming towards me, but I still don't feel like I have the thing for me. My success has brought stability, not just to me financially, but to other people. But what about something just for me? You can say the same thing if you're in, believe it or not, for those of you who've not experienced love, and I hope that you do, in the way in which you envision it. It's okay for you to say, I want to experience a thing in the way that I envision it, to then find out that it's greater than the way that you envisioned it. I don't think anything's wrong with that, okay? Like, I am not one of those people that lives in this theory that you just have to be okay with things because what you have is something greater than, so, you know, the collective majority. It's just like you can't even get to the thought of the end of space. You cannot, believe it or not, get to the end of fulfillment. And that actually shows healthy longing, healthy desire. The very desire, I think, if you had to ask me, that the world as we know it, our solar system was created upon, was the desire to see oneself outside of oneself, to see oneself and marvel at the vastness of, I didn't know this about myself. I didn't know that I did these things. I didn't know that this is what I was aching for. I did not have a clue. And the thing about it is that a lot of us, when we go to obtain these things, there's always a fear for some people. I know me, there's a fear like, okay, I have this thing that is right here, and it's something that I want to obtain. It's here. But can I trust that this is a source that will not exploit me? So sometimes I think we're taught to that we can't desire more, and we can't desire depth because we have something that so many people lack. And we're robbed of the hunger. We're convinced that we shouldn't hunger for something. And I just don't believe that to be true. Did you know that no matter what the age is, whether the person's in their 60s or 70s, that a lot of people who retire, or the studies, it was this way, within 10 years of their retirement, they would pass? Like the retirement of a thing signaled unconsciously to the person's brain that this was it, that their purpose had been fulfilled. And a whole lot of processes take place in the body. Okay? Some people, dying from a broken heart is a real thing. Okay? It's a real thing. So your heart is put into so many things, and people say put your heart and your soul into it, but that's not your heart is tough, but it has its limits until it learns how to move through its limitations. It's okay for you to want something more. It's okay for you to teach your partner how to love you. Okay? It's okay. It really is. You must also, if you don't mind me saying, be willing to be taught. If you knew everything today, you'd retire. I can't say that that would be the greatest feeling on the earth, like to know everything, and everything that you were supposed to accomplish, you accomplish it with whatever success, whatever wealth you've acquired, whatever relationship. That's it. There's no more growth. It don't have to be like that. So when I posted this thing on my page, and I said, sometimes God puts us in isolation, or we'll put ourselves in isolation to realize how amazing we are, so that it matches the person that we want to be. But I think that when I said the word isolation, I was not being as candid as I should have been. And let me see if I can navigate that word a little bit for us. Isolation doesn't have to be loneliness. It can be the process of isolating the different areas of our life, the different facets of ourselves. Isolation literally could mean that you are in a home filled with love. You have the love of your life. You have wealth. You're probably assured, and for a lot of you, whether you were on my old channel or on this new channel, no matter what you feel about yourself right now, no matter the relationship me and you have, you're actually going to make it. You're actually going to do very well for yourself, if not already. And if you have the wellness in yourself, please don't think that that is the end in the totality. Okay? Don't make the snap judgment that things cannot expand past what your current knowledge allows for. Okay? When I talk about isolation, I mean to isolate in a such a way to isolate different elements of your life. Investigate the areas of your life. For instance, if you are a man and you or a woman and you know that you have some amazing strong suits, you're dating, maybe you don't have a person. Maybe you have a certain set of experiences in your relationships. Maybe, just maybe, this exercise that you're going through will allow you to be convinced of your worth, not just by your material attributes, but what you have on a soul level. You don't know how much, I think we underestimate how healing it is, right? To lay on someone's chest and hear their heartbeat, or to synchronize your heartbeat to someone else. And so I feel like when I talk about shit like this, I'm speaking a foreign language. Like when I'm saying that to be human is to be some of the most sophisticated equipment in our known galaxy, I think it falls on dead ears, and I can't blame anyone for that. What I do, I'm going to share one thing that I do ask for, and I hope that this doesn't hurt me in any kind of way, because I have Mercury in the 8th house. I hope it doesn't. I personally ask for my life to be exciting. I've asked, and you have to be careful what you ask for. I've asked for my life to provide me richness, to show me myself so that I can understand without a shadow of a doubt what my worth is, and to see that worth from me to me. And I think that I think I was bypassing some shit spiritually. Okay, I really think that I was bypassing some shit spiritually when I said that. I think that I was like, I don't have all of the answers, and I know that I was bypassing something spiritually. Let me say, I'm gonna tell you something. There's so many ways in which you can have wealth and you can feel so vulnerable. I was asking to do something incredible that was so fucking selfish. And maybe you won't understand what I'm saying right now, right? But it was so selfish. And it's selfish because it's fear of something. And I didn't realize, oh my God, I didn't realize how underserved the people who I thought I was taking care of. Like, I didn't realize. Like, I thought so much of myself, right? All because of a fear of a certain type of vulnerability. This is not a vulnerability I ever have to worry about an enemy exploiting. At least not one that's not attached to me. Okay? It's not that kind of thing. You can believe that you are providing for people, and you could very well be doing so. But you sometimes don't know how big you are to those people. You don't even know. And in not knowing, you make mistakes. You make mistakes because that person can't meet you at a place that you don't even realize that they're trying to learn how to do. And that's why they are in awe of you. All because you have a fear of of actually seeing yourself as benevolent. You literally can, I don't think people understand this. You can literally not see, you could do some things where you try to humanize yourself in such a way that you rob yourself and everyone else of the vessel and the godhood that is within you, that is meant to be within you, because it literally takes the electricity and connects it to someone else for them to touch the heavens where they actually fucking belong. And sometimes you can not understand that. You cannot understand that. And so you don't get someone needing reassurance from you because you minimize your importance down to a material thing when they just want to know that you love them. And for some of you, that's what you're probably going through. Some of you, the people thank you, but they don't apologize. And it's okay. It's okay for you to want them to grow. It's okay that if they don't, you can redelegate that position in your life and ask for it to be filled completely. You can ask for, you want to know what you look like, babe, is what I want to tell you. You really kind of want to know what you look like, good, bad, or indifferent, because you don't want to think or convince yourself that you don't have a certain kind of power that you do. And in convincing yourself that you don't have that, you don't show up for someone. It absolutely is your responsibility. And I'm going to tell you something. Showing up for people just because you want to have sex with them is not okay, bro. Y'all don't, I just want to say that, and I'm not, y'all don't know how hard I have fucking fought with that construct. Okay? You don't know how hard I've fought with that construct. It doesn't have to be anything. That person doesn't have to benefit you in any kind of way. But somehow, because they allow for you to care for them, it feels like it releases you from a burden that you've been carrying. It makes you feel good. If people won't even let you care for them, then you got to know that they cannot, and they're not in a position to care for you. You got to know that. And I know it feels like, well, if I have so much more of this and I have, You won't, if you do this, you will become a little bit jaded, and you will handle everyone the same way and assume everyone needs your help in a certain kind of way because you can do a thing that they cannot do, and they're not going to appreciate that. So when they do come to you with some emotional need or some intangible thing, you don't even know the first thing to how you can help them, or you may even convince yourself they're asking for too much when that was what they needed more than whatever it is that you thought you were giving. Because we become jaded and we get shamed into to people saying you want too much. There's no such thing as you want too much. That is the worst thing you can tell anybody, you want too much. The fuck is you talking about? Because along with anything that you want, you must also have the capacity to hold it, which means you're going to be holding the line for others. In you acquiring the thing that you want in abundance, you lay out a blueprint that help other people, whether you're doing it directly or as a result of just being an influence. Okay? And you have to start trusting that if you are going to be a giant, you have requirements that must be met by the people who want to come into your life. And they're not too much. You're not asking for too much. You may just not know how to, like, the emotion. You may not know how to request the thing. Or you may feel bad that even after all of the ways in which you have grown as a person, you still got to ask. And it feels like demoralizing in a way. And so the one thing I would challenge you with, is it that I need you to ask yourself, is it that I don't know how to ask for it? Or are the people who I'm trying to ask for this from, will they dry up the well in such a way that I stop giving myself and others what I have provided them? Can this person, at the capacity they're asking for shit from me, can they provide me the things I need? You do know, like, I've heard this twice and it makes so much sense. You do know that your friendships, they're meant to be close, they're meant to be intimate. They may not take the place of your relationships, or hell, you might become friends with the person who you are intimate with, where they are that rock. And this is something that you got to be willing, you got to be willing to share with them. I need you to challenge yourself to finding maybe where you shut down and you do not express to the people who really want you to put them to work what you need, because somewhere, somehow, you were ashamed or you were made to feel vulnerable for asking for that thing. And that person invalidated your need for them to feel grateful. It is not okay. Like, it's not okay for that to happen. And I have people that I work with who have parents that have fucking invalidated them, and the parents are invalidated, but fuck all of that shit. The person that's in front of me fucking feels invalidated. So what ends up happening is so fucked up. What ends up happening is that they, because of their fucking parents, and listen, I know I'm not putting blame on the parents, because there's so much blame, and I'm really tired of this whole notion about shame and shit like that. But their fucking parents, man, made it to, made it, we can do so much fucking damage to one another and to the people who we love and who love us and who look up to us. It's incredible. Like, honestly, when they tell you children are a miracle, this is the shit I'm talking about. that we literally, depending on how we are raised, we're unable to form relationships that fulfill us. And some of us seem to go in a circle, in a pattern of the same archetype of those who let us down early in our life. And it's not very easy to find people to help us with these things. Hell, a lot of us don't even know we need it, that it's a need. It literally, it becomes a blueprint for your friendships and your motherfucking relationships. Even the people that you meet who actually are decent people, you will subconsciously train them to unconsciously to treat you in a certain kind of way, because through your lens you react a certain type of way. It's not placing blame on anyone. You we're so deep as beings. You cannot tell me that we just fucking die and we just go away. It's no way you can just tell me that. You can affect how someone relates to you. In a cycle of vulnerability and intimacy, and literally attract you and fall in love with people who will deny you. You don't know, I'm gonna tell you something. It is not satisfying. I know that I have people of different walks of life who listen to me. When you sit with, and I'm gonna say some shit that's very fucking vulnerable. Have you ever heard your grandfather cry? Like, have you literally ever heard like someone that is that massive to you cry? A giant. Like, this is a giant. You love this man down. And to your little understanding, you have to understand something about life. And it's not their fault. If anything, it teaches you something so important. They cry in such a way that they become the same fucking age as you right before your eyes, because of some shit that they had to deal with in their childhood. It changes you, and I would not change that experience at all, but it changes you. And I don't know, I was just thinking about that today. I said, this is a 60-year-old Navy veteran. Okay, my grandfather went to the Army, but he got discharged from the Army because he had a heart murmur due to having rheumatic fever. He didn't have it so bad that he had to have the iron lungs when he was a kid, but it did give him a heart, like a arrhythmia or whatever. And mind you, he passed with a heart condition. But anyway, nonetheless, and it's so weird that it was the heart being a cancer. He's a cancer man with a Sag moon. My granddaddy was that nigga. I'm gonna tell you that right now, for real. Like I know people try to go and say people who are like men who have Jupiterian energy or moon energy are feminine. Ain't shit feminine about that nigga. Like seriously, he was that nigga. Like, because how can you be that nurturing and that cold blooded? Like, for real, like on some like real deal shit. My grandfather, let me tell you something. To this day, just so like I can Miller High Life, nigga, I will drink a Miller High Life and I will turn into a fucking mess in front of you because I love. Just hold on one second. I'm gonna tell you the type of man that my grandfather was. Like nobody was fucking with him as a man. Like you really wasn't fucking with him. I mean, he really was the original J. Cole, like J.B. Cole. Okay, so like Bishop. Okay, any nigga with the name Bishop, you know you not fucking with this nigga. Okay, like just think about that. What nigga? Any nigga with the name Bishop is a cold motherfucker. You not fucking with this nigga. Like seriously. Okay, I'm gonna just let you understand this. But my grandfather would turn into a fucking puddle for us. Like you just don't. He was. He's such a good man. Like the things that you don't understand. Like I know what we say about men as women, and y'all, we really don't be bullshitting about y'all whole ass though, for real. Like in a real way, we really don't be bullshitting about y'all. And you got to understand, some of us are coming from a different place because we see the edges of a man when that person does certain things. My grandfather walked to, my mother was having, she had really fucking bad asthma. And their genes are so strong that even my fucking nieces and nephews have eczema. And mind you, his mother's mother fucking had eczema and died in Bolivar Hospital from some fucking asthma. And you know what they would give back in the 1920s and the 30s and 40s for asthma? Medical weed, bitch. Can you believe that? Medical marijuana. Anyway, it's so interesting. The way in which he was there for me is 10 times how he was for my mom and my mom's sister, my aunt. He carried my mom, who was having a massive asthma attack and allergic reaction, on his back to a hospital because they could not get to a car. It wasn't that far. We I believe that they stayed in some place that was it's South Memphis, but it's downtown, like downtown, literally Memphis sits between South Memphis and North Memphis. I cannot explain that shit at all because West Memphis, literally West Memphis, is in Arkansas, bitch. Like there's not a West Memphis in Tennessee. Okay, West Memphis is in Arkansas. It is the biggest small town that you will ever go to. Like people in Memphis are very fucking fast. But if you don't understand it, you will think that they're slow, and that will be your ass, nigga, for real. Like seriously, real talk. You you just don't understand that anyone that's anything, if you survive in Memphis, your ass can live anywhere. You can survive anywhere. Anywhere in the world. And it's not because people are animals. It's because of how quick your mind has to be. And you are challenged on it because they be like, niggas, you slow? I mean, they speaking broken English and every fucking thing. But I declare that people will call your ass slow. Listen, so he got her to the hospital. And I was thinking about this today. And I was inspired because of the thing that I kind of went through today. I was fucking thinking about this. My grandfather had a triple bypass and a carotid artery. His arteries were blocked, I think 85%. And I helped bring my grandfather back to health. So did my mom, my grandmother, and everyone. But because I was his baby, that was like, even though I have my father, I was up under my grandfather. And I was so fucking scared. And because they had to take these veins out of his forearm for his neck. So I wanted to oversee all of the shit. I took care of my mom when she had her hysterectomy, looking at her wounds and everything, because I was so fucking involved. I was so involved with taking care of them that I was disrespectful as fuck. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying. I was very short. I didn't realize how short I was. I thought I was doing what I needed to do. I was so ridiculous about how I was going to tell these well-learned people, pro-max ass niggas, a damn thing. But you couldn't tell me I wasn't their fucking mom. You know what I'm saying? But I was. I can't explain this. You have to know Capricorn and the shadow of Capricorn. And Capricorn show their love in action, but sometimes we don't invest a lot in emotional readiness. And it's one of the biggest fucking lessons that I've had to learn. And I'm going to tell you something. Every time I've had to learn this fucking lesson, it doesn't get easier until you actually learn it. And it will fucking humble you. In real fucking time, it'll humble you. But about my grandfather, he took me to go and get my wisdom teeth removed. And, I didn't think much of it. I'm like, he was concerned. He was like, no, you need to get that taken care of, because if you don't take care of your teeth, you could develop a heart situation. And of course, I would, like, he was adamant about it, okay? Y'all, this man, I was walking, like, I was grown, okay? Like, I should have been taking myself, but my grandfather saw to it that he took me. I mean, I was about 2021, okay? This man was so determined that got out the car and I was running. So, okay. So I said, yeah, we got to go to the office. I wasn't thinking much of it. I was just, getting ready. I didn't want to be late. And I thought my grandfather, I'm just talking. And for all I knew, he was right next beside me. Y'all, I fucking turned around and I looked back, and he didn't want to show me a piece of fucking weakness, but he was so winded. I almost collapsed because I didn't know what I was looking at. I did not know. And he saw how scared I was. He saw how fucking scared I was. I was so scared. It has slowed down. I went back for him, okay? I still talk to my grandfather. But he felt a need to be strong in front of me. And I felt so bad that he felt that need to be that way. He and I can't help but wonder if a lot of the way he was for us was because of the love that he was trying to get from his mom. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather, not to get into his business because I love him so much, his mom put him out the house. And I don't think that my grandfather was maybe 12 or 13, and he got into some shit. Mind you, his dad died because of some motherfucking white cops that hit his father over the head so hard that he developed like a tumor. And he loved, that's who he's named for. He loved his father so much. And even still, no matter how cruel she was to him, right? She had a fucking problem. His mama had a mean streak, beautiful woman, beautiful. When I tell you beautiful, from New York City. Her and she brought her mother to Tennessee from New York. Not New York State, but New York City, bitch. I don't know. But she put him out. And I think that he was trying to he was trying to fix it through how he showed up for me and my mom and my auntie. And I'm bringing this up because it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was something that I got into it with my grandfather about. And he said something. He said, "You have a mean streak in you, just like my mother." And it stopped me right the fuck in my tracks. Like, bitch, that knocked the wind out of me. Because I hated her. I hated her. And for me to have that kind of, for him to see that, and he would drink and he would listen to music. My grandfather was very progressive. Okay, I had uncles, I had aunts who were LGBTQ. He didn't give a fuck about that. My grandfather told me and my mother told me that if, as a young woman, if I ever needed something from them, if I ever needed to tell them something, I got in trouble in some kind of way, that young people get in trouble, that I can tell them. So much so that I was skipping school. I don't know if yeah, I think I've told people on the other channel about this. And I know it, my ass shouldn't have been there and I could have gotten in so much trouble, but I felt more comfortable and more safe calling my mother and whatever punishment I could have got, or calling my grandfather, than sitting there and letting somebody play with me, especially against my will. That's how safe I felt. And so my grandfather would drink, and then after that happened, he would play music, and that's how he would soothe himself. So he would play music. And so when he said what he said, he did not put the emotional burden, because how can you put the emotional burden on somebody that you feel responsible for? That is your child's child, thus your child, and expect me to understand something, but I understood that however I was, and no, it's not my fault. We are what we are, and we have things that we deal with, and some things are unresolved even as adults. And if they're unresolved, they can cause and wreak havoc in our life, because we don't feel that we should ask people to treat us a certain kind of way or demand a certain type of treatment because we've dealt with some things in our life, right? My grandfather he didn't say what he was crying about. I mean, but I knew. You know how you just fucking know? It was like that in such a way to where the women in his family, in his side of the family, they were cold because they had to be cold in order to deal with the mom who was cold well before my grandfather's father entered the picture, because maybe she had to be. There are so many reasons. And so it's not just my grandfather's mother who's culpable, it's what failed her. And it's a whole line of shit. But it still doesn't negate the weight of our needs and us going without our needs, or worse, us fostering the events to happen over and over with those who we love, and never being able to escape what seems like a nightmare of being neglected or rejected by the person who should love us the most, right? And I'm speaking about this today because I literally had this sequence with someone, and I'm gonna call them back. If it's too late tonight, it's too late. But and it's not my burden in that kind of case. But I just want them to know that I'm here. And if you hire me to do something, I think that I take it a little bit. Sometimes I can take things a little bit too much. I can be a little bit too nurturing on some things, but you cannot. I want you to know that we cried for my grandfather, me, my mom, and my grandmother, because we wanted to know, we wanted to be tasked with what he needed. But his idea of his manhood would not allow him to to delegate that. And so sometimes I just wonder, and I see people and I see things as it is, but I'm like, what is that child inside of you going through right now? And what are you having to suppress? Because my grandfather would work hard and would send money to his mom well past the time that he should have, after he was married to my grandmother, type shit. Take care of his sisters, who didn't always give him the respect that they should have given him. By way, people treat you how they're trained to treat you by some people. I'm not making this a referendum on men or women. This can go either way. This is just human shit that he didn't even know. And I think that it created a barrier. He didn't even know how to allow his wife in, my grandmother. My grandfather loved my grandmother in such a way, and I think he fulfilled. I don't know how to feel about this. He said that if she left before him, it would be no more good. And he took care of her as if he took care of us all. And so you cannot blame me when I know that I'm talking to men. And I'm not saying I don't do this. I do this especially with women, because we all have a masculine and feminine side. When you do not know how to ask for what it is that you want, or if you think this shit is too much, you don't know how that will lead you to heart problems and you to have a heavy heart. You don't realize that you rob the people who love you from something that would bring them closer. They just trust me when I tell you, as a man, if you have daughters, if you have a wife, and you manage to actually find her and she's a good woman, she loves you, you have to. You have to let her raise you. You understand? Because if you don't do that, You will give yourself excuses to do some things that are immoral and then put your whole family in harm's way because you would delegate other people to give you things that are not safe in that place, not as safe as it should be in your home. Okay? And I'm saying this, if you are a woman, please make this apply. It's not that I don't have this for you, because, baby, when I talk to you about my grandmother, she is every single woman. My grandmother, as much as I was mad at, I don't have I have some kind of audacity on me to be mad at someone I don't know. But what's the young lady, Summer Walker? My grandmother would have fucking loved Summer Walker. Because Summer Walker gives, and this is not trying to be funny, Summer Walker is beautiful as fuck, okay? But she definitely, my grandmother's an Aries woman. She's an Aries sun and a Libra moon, okay? When I tell you she would listen to Aretha and how she was, like, Aries make the best wives. I'm saying this as a woman with full confidence in myself, that if you have the luxury of a friend who's an Aries, you want to be a wife, look at how, or you want to be significant, you've not had that, look at how she takes care of her. I'm not making this male centered. I just need you to understand that as a woman, there's just certain things in this body, in this lifetime, that you need. And the way she does, if she's a stand-up Aries, the way she does with her fucking kids. Listen, Aries are the one woman I can say that is allowed to be toxic. Because, nigga, you did it. You, whatever she being toxic about, you did that shit. Because how hard Aries go for the person that, listen, happy fucking birthday to the Aries women, okay? Find you an Aries woman, a woman with significant first house placements. You are going to get a Libra on fucking crack. You don't understand. If you're going to get a Libra on fucking crack if you're dealing with an Aries woman. Aries women want to be your fucking daughter and your mother and your grandmother and your fucking sister. And they're probably going to be all of that for you. Okay? Listen, I swear for it. Okay? If there's any woman that I will look up to, and maybe this is the influence of my grandmother, and absolutely the influence of her twin. Because what do you mean this nigga beat your ass? This is her twin, and you went to school and became a teacher and got your master's from Lemoyne on with 6 fucking children. What do you mean? That you have that much tenacity and audacity to do some things. I come from a stock of great women. We're imperfect, but fuck yeah. I come from a stock of great women. My grandmother and my grandmother and her sister, they didn't get to be raised by their mother. And their mother was named Louisiana. She died shortly after getting birth to them because she got hit. I think she was, what, 39 years old? And she got hit by a trucker, like in a car. It wasn't devastating in that kind of way. It's just the coma and organ shutdowns. If you know what happens to the body when it's not instant death, but it's the injuries, and you got to think about it. We're talking the 39 ish, type of time. So something that's easily triaged today was absolutely, long term fatally. I mean, she was in such bad condition, it was safer to keep her in a coma type thing. And whatever she could make out, she said, take care of my babies. She had 2 twins, okay? And my grandmother is younger than Miss L. Harvey's. Her grandmother was, I think, one of the eldest of those girls. My grandmother and her twin sister were younger than Lori Harvey's grandmother on her father's side, okay? And I mean, the names Martha go through our family. If you know anything about Saint Martha, you can kind of attest to the kind of women that we have. And these are the same group of women that one of them put like this: a nigga wasn't gonna put their hands on her. Okay, listen. Them, the prettiest, most cold-blooded women you ever see. But anyway, nonetheless, we felt like we could have, like, we had this weight on, still have it. I think that I probably nurture or do the things that I do, and I'm sure my mom does the things. I'm sure that it affects us a certain kind of way. But when you are in relationships with people and you deny yourself what you need, and you deny a person to show up and be as big as you don't get the best of them. And if something should happen to you, and if they are worth a fucking damn, if they're worth any fucking thing, they're going to feel that shit. They're gonna feel it. They're gonna be angry with you. It's times to be angry with you that you didn't tell them that they couldn't be there for you in that capacity. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that it impacts. I think that this is probably why I probably have given too much grace to certain types of men. I know that sounds so weird that I was loved so well by my grandfather, and even to an extent, I think I told y'all about my father kidnapping me and taking me to Chicago because he didn't want my mother to leave him and not have his family. That was some wild shit. But anyway, my father actually sacrificed quite a bit, and I thank him because of the condition that he was in. But my mom is still married to my father. My wild shit. Wild shit. It's a different kind of generation now. But anyway, when you don't advocate for yourself, it affects the people who come in, the nightmare of how you go without, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. And you will allow your accomplishments to blind you to the person that's inside of you that needs that reassurance, that needs that acknowledgement. We need each other. We need people. So in all your bigness, if you can't allow the people around you to share in that, or worse, you are offended because they see you. You just do not know that you are creating more damage to yourself and to those who love you, because you can't stop people from loving you. You can't be cruel and because you don't feel worthy of love and try to push that person away from you. That's not going to help make the situation better either. Okay? Okay? But in you not going for what it is that you want, if the person that's in front of you and you express this to them cannot fucking give it to you, tell that bitch, and whether it's male or female, get the fuck on. You not getting and going for all that you're worth, especially if you are a black person, Italian or Irish, you don't realize that you are reassessing and reanimating the needs that your ancestors, especially as a woman, in which they lived and they did not get these things taken care of. And it is why we are so separate as a society. It is why we're so fucking cold, and why we don't have the units of our family that we need. It's because we existed in these units in trauma. Okay? And I cried today because I worked with a client, and it brought me back to that moment This should let you know that my clients range all the way to some mom who, or father even, who's trying to make it happen and they don't have a lot of money and I don't bust people's heads for my help. To people who make and are responsible for systems to make sure people have their needs met. And the common denominator between people is not understanding how much their needs and those needs becoming met are so important to the fulfillment of their life, to the enjoyment of their life, and the satisfaction of their life. They feel ashamed of it because it makes them feel vulnerable due to some wound, that same very wound in maybe childhood, where they deserve to have been nurtured then and weren't. Does this mean you give people fucking permission to walk all over your life and tell you what to do? No, it doesn't. You can be vulnerable and in your vulnerability be strong and command, not demand, but command respect. Because your vulnerability is a show of trust and it has its worth. It is worth its weight in gold, okay? But if you can't trust people around you to help take up that, you're risking not showing up for yourself and for the people who really admire you, but most importantly, for your own abilities, for your own, you rob your own self of your own ability to admire yourself in a real way, not in an egotistical way that's fake, and actually in a example of it's like, you know how you see people who are like megalomaniacs, they actually have the lowest self-esteem, so it's not even fucking real. If anything, it isolates them even more from genuine relationships, and it makes them a target for parasitic people. Parasitic people love people who are that need like constant reassurance. They love people who are very egoic. People who want to fuck you over, they don't fuck with just the quiet people who have low self-esteem, or we think the picture of low self-esteem. They really love the people who love praise. The people who want an echo chamber, you are the most vulnerable. When you want, I know that sounds fucked up. When you are a person who wants to be king and queen of all, of Oz, you are the easiest person to be robbed completely blind and senseless. So I say all of that to say this. Do you understand what that does to you? You understand the coldness that that does to you when that happens, because you don't know how to develop the relationships with people, the right people. You don't know the signs and what you, and more importantly, you don't even know your worth in order to have it mirrored back to you and others. Try not to leave this earth like that. It's so important, okay? Anyway, y'all, I don't know. It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit I gotta work on. It's a lot of shit I gotta work on. I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I love y'all. I really do. On a universal level, I probably don't like you in real life and shit, right? Like we gotta you gotta let me have this. I'm a funny acting ass bitch. I'm a funny looking bitch, and I'm a funny acting ass bitch. You can't rob me. You can't take that from me, okay? I might not like your ways right up front, like up front, but as a soul on this earth, someone sharing space with me without the bullshit, I fuck with you, okay? And I'm making room for people who on the surface I don't fuck with and you don't fuck with me. But on a soul level, just on a basic human being level, I fuck with you. And I really actually do want each person to have that fulfillment, because it is important for you to have the fullness of the success that you are chasing and building for other people. Okay? Want more, require more. It's not selfish and it's not too much. Okay? I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. We'll talk soon. Peace.